we have a lot of good positive news, but we have to actually talk about something that happened recently. A couple of days ago, news sources came out from a certain workplace that, well, kind of touched our hearts that we need to talk about right now. And we have to bring up Inside Out again. How many times have we actually brought up Inside Out news? I swear to God.
Yeah, I think it's like we brought up Inside Out 2, the previous two times. We brought up Inside Out 2 quite a lot, and it's been nothing but good news during those 2 weeks, but unfortunately this week, it's doom and gloom for me.
According to news source IGN, it has been revealed that those who've been working on Inside Out 2 have suffered quite a lot when it came to making the movie of Inside Out 2. There have been 10 people that laid off that have spoken out about this. How shocked were you to hear the fact that they talked about it and then got laid off?
Yeah, it really is. It really did break my heart at the fact of, as much as I celebrate the success of Inside Out 2, I, think it's a wonderful movie. Like, I felt really bad for those that suffered while working on this, especially the fact they got laid off. It's just like, it's not cool, It's devastating.
So they got laid off because they spoke out?
No, they got laid off because Pixar's been doing these massive layoffs. So that's why.
So what? So someone tells me. So how did the process go? Did they make Inside Out 2 and then they got laid off before they even got out?
So what happened was that they made Inside Out 2, in the middle of making it, and then they got laid off. And then what happened was that by the time the movie got released, by the time the movie got made, the laid off employees didn't even get their bonus.
That sucks.
And it's like, no, you have to give them the bonus. They worked hard for this. They deserve it.
Okay, so even their credits don't even get they don't even get anything back. It's like you worked on it, you got laid off, and you don't even get paid for. You don't even get paid for that. That's kind of shit.
You don't get paid bonus for it. It really sucks.
Okay, so this news. I mean, we're processing this currently, so I mean, I'm just going through your outline questions, by the way. Okay. They worked hard for the bonuses. They felt robbed. They felt betrayed by Disney by not giving the bonuses deserved. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
What kind of questions are we putting up here?
I also have the article right here in front of me. So
Keycard access was restricted for laid off employees. They could no longer access to the work materials for the demo reels, personal files, benefit information, and other things. They felt shut out and isolated as a result. I mean, how bad do you feel about the way they got treated after being laid off like that?
Like they couldn't even let them in to get their belongings and stuff like that. That is beyond messed up.
I thought the process was when you get laid off, you have your box of stuff that you're going to pack up and then you leave.
Yeah, but of course, there are some things that you might need much later on that you haven't thought of before. Like for example,
you can't go back. Well, to be fair, I've been through firings before. What happens is that they tell you just to get your stuff and leave.
Like for example, what if later on you need your personal files or
that's their files now.
Yeah, but what if you want to come collect them?
That's their files though.
And also, what if you forget something later on?
That's their files now.
No, but their personal belongings. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about
to be honest. I did leave a jacket back in my workplace. They never got it back to me about it.
Oh, dang, dude.
I'm telling you, it's theirs now, so you fucked up with forgetting about that.
It's just, yeah, and also...
About the personal files part, the thing is that you can make your own personal files. If it is something that is actually made for Disney or Inside Out, that's actually Disney's property. Yeah. You can't actually take a file from Disney and actually bring it to you. Keep it.
No, but, I just go by what the article says,
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, your personal files would be it's personal files of what, letters and stuff. Maybe that could be one thing, but the thing is why are you writing letters on a company laptop?
Yeah, but either way, they felt isolated because they're outside. And then you see all these employees that are in there, and from what the article states, it felt awkward. It felt. Awkward.
I mean, it felt awkward to have somebody get fired. Yes. Yes. Look, imagine myself being fired in those shoes. If anything, again, I'm just trying to think of it in a way where it's not that awkward, because to be fair, yeah, it is awkward because you're going to see someone leave the company. But at the same time, it's so weird because I remember one time where I got fired, nobody was around me. Everybody left the building for some reason. I went into I went to one of the boss's office. They said, you're fired. They sign your papers and then get your stuff and go. But the thing is, where's everybody else that was around me? Nobody.
Yeah.
So if anything, yes, you do feel ghosted. So it does make sense why they were saying they got ghosted.
Yeah, it makes sense why they got ghosted, but also it's not just the laid off employees that got suffered for this, but it's also even those that didn't get laid off that also currently work there as well. They also suffered because of the fact of how during due to the fact that there was a crunch, they had to work 7 days a week because of it.
Yeah, and especially the fact that they had to move Inside Out 2 up a year. Remember, that used to be a 2025 release for Inside Out 2. Now they actually pushed it back to 2024, which means that they had to work so much about it.
And like I know that Pixar wanted to Disney wanted to be back on top again. They were relying on Inside Out 2. They were relying on Inside Out 2 to make them come back.
To be fair, they
money.
were relying on a lot of things. I mean, Wish failed, Lightyear failed, and now they had to rely on Pixar again to hopefully get the numbers back, and it did with Inside Out 2.
Now, I understand why Disney made the decision they made, but I can't excuse it because you're overworking your employees.
Right. I think the one thing that I wanted to see out here was the fact that people got overworked. I think the timeline that happened when it comes to Inside Out 2 was the fact that got pushed earlier to another year, and then you laid off employees. And this was during the layoffs that happened in Pixar and Disney. And now the fact that the decision was to push it up a year, the employees that were going to be working on Inside Out 2 need to make sure things are done before the release date of Inside Out 2. I never expected that they needed more employees, but they couldn't be able to get more employees. That means more work time for those employees. That means they work, you said, 7 days a week in order to get these animation things going. And I'm like, okay, this feels very like a toxic work environment now.
It really does feel like it does feel like a toxic work environment. I feel like even after they got hit, with by many obstacles, the COVID-19 pandemic hit them hard, the box failures hit them hard.
Everybody got affected with the COVID pandemic. We can't deal with that. I mean, it is something out of nature, and that every company had to try to get through it somehow, some way. But everybody's from the way I'm seeing it, everyone's trying to recover from the pandemic, but again, they're doing it wrong for some reason. Warner Brothers, you could see how they're doing it. They're really bad right now. Writing off a lot of movies, etc., and all that jazz. And then Pixar and Disney, and I thought they were going to be the better company out of it all, but instead, from all the news that I've been hearing, it's not the case anymore.
The problem with Pixar is that they're a non-unionized studio. The problem is that we need a union so that this doesn't happen again.
Well, they have a union, don't they?
They're according to what I've read, Pixar is non-unionized, so that's why that the hashtag Stand With Animation is currently trending. That's why TAG.
Why aren't they? So
we're relying on TAG to be successful in negotiations, so that there will be unions for all animation studios.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, but okay. So yes, I feel bad for all those employees. Just the fact that again, overworking your employees, getting them all tired out. I mean, everybody who in the article, I just been hearing everybody just pointing out the fact that they all felt tired. They don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. There was an incredible amount of people that said, "I just can't do this anymore."
It kind of sucks because behind the scenes, it was hell. I would say. While what we're watching on the screen is absolutely amazing. We love Inside Out 2. We're watching it. It's great. And then we just never think about the people that are working behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think that as animation fans, as moviegoers, movie viewers in general, we take for granted, the media we consume, but we don't think about the people who make the media in the first place. It's making movies, TV shows is a hard process.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I mean, maybe TV shows might be a little bit easier just because animation takes a lot. Computers, animators, so many things to make a cartoon. That's the reason why it takes 2 to 3 years to make a movie, to say. While you look at TV shows, for example, they take you could make this in a couple of weeks for a TV show.
Yeah, and also not to mention the fact of how because with TV shows, each episode is about 30 minutes to 60 minutes long, so there's always in between breaks between episodes. Whereas with movies is
it's literally a 2 hour.
It's one long process. Yeah, it's one long project.
It's a 2 to 3 hour process for you to make it's a big long process for you to make a 2 to 3 hour movie, and that's why it takes years to make the next movie.
Yeah,
the timeline was all set for Pixar to release Inside Out 2 on that year, but because of the whole because of it being pushed another year. Now I can understand why employees are just suffering because they didn't get the news. They just didn't know that they were going to work on this first, then Elio, for example.
Yeah, and also I like to mention the fact of how, like they say that, oh, like they laid off, Pixar employees to save some bucks. Like there's, according to an article I've seen, one employee even said, you invested 1.5 billion dollars on Fortnite. It could have been gone to like all the employees that worked out hard on this movie.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right beyond that, but then again, hey, don't play on Fortnite now, and now it makes me not want to play it anymore.
I'm sorry, like, they didn't need to invest all that much into Fortnite, like, paying your employees is more important.
Yeah, I understand, yeah, I definitely understand that, but, I mean, again, this whole article that came out, just, like, it's a lot to process, it's a lot to think about, because just like, so many things that are, like, absolutely wrong in here. If anything, it just gets me out to a point that making an animated movie is absolutely hard, and I just feel like companies don't get that.
Yeah, and I feel really disappointed of how, Disney, declined to comment on this. Like, Disney should answer for this, because this is unacceptable.
Indeed. So I would say, like, look, I mean, there are friends, I have friends out there who are, like, getting into animation, and I'm like, but I don't know if you want to now because of what's going on here.
Not too long ago, like, it was only yesterday that, like, many animators who have yet to get into an animation studio, once viewed it as a dream come true, but then when you really get into it, it's a nightmare come true.
Yeah, but I mean, because the thing is, like, you're expecting to have hard work. You're supposed to get the work done and have that hard work be paid off after what you've learned in college, for example.
What really bothers me too is also, I got to talk about this right now. Apparently Disney wants to, make Riley less gay. Like that's also another thing they talked about because reportedly Disney has blamed Lightyear's box office failure on the same-sex kiss scene.
Oh, really?
And I'm just like, no, absolutely not. You're pointing the wrong fingers. That's no. See, Lightyear would have failed. Same-sex kiss scene or not, because, well, number one, the movie, it didn't do that well. Number two, it comes down to the marketing. The marketing of Lightyear was actually really poor. And also not to mention the fact of, you still have that Toy Story fatigue after Toy Story 4, which didn't need to exist anyway. So all these factors, Lightyear's failure had nothing to do with the same-sex kiss scene. So I don't understand why they decided to make Riley less gay. Now, of course, you do see Riley being very fond of Val, but in a more of a older sister figure type thing. But
more like a fan from the way I'm seeing Riley. Just like, oh my God, you're like one of the best like hockey players in that high school. I want to go to that high school so I can actually be a part of your team.
Now, here's the thing. Like, Riley being gay for Val or not doesn't really affect the movie as a whole. The movie is still excellent, even with how they handle Riley. But I'm just saying that
I don't know if that's a real point to bring out the fact that they made Riley less gay or something like that. I mean, who said that, by the way? Is it really in the article?
It was somewhere in the article, one
source says in the film when you saw nothing. Okay.
It was all the way in the bottom, and not only that, but there are also videos that actually talked about this as well. So yeah.
But yeah. I mean, if anything else, if again processing this still.
I'm trying to process this too because I don't want to believe this is real. I honestly don't, because I love Inside Out 2, but the fact that, it pretty much falls down the rabbit hole of, oh, it's an excellent movie, but it got done under poor circumstances. It's Across the Spiderverse 2 all over again.
Yes.
It's Across the Spiderverse all over again.
That's what I was trying to also point out too. Remember, what was it? Across the Spiderverse, we already talked about how bad that work environment was. They were able to win an Oscar for the movie. Oh, yeah. No, they didn't. They were able to win a Golden Globe. Well, not a Golden Globe either. God damn. Across the Spider-Verse actually never won a big movie Oscar or anything.
Yeah, you could blame The Boy and the Heron for that.
Oh, don't tell me The Boy and the Heron animators got also worked up really well. I really hope not.
Yeah, no.
Although it could be. Although Japan is different than America.
Yeah, so. Japan, from what I've heard, has been treating its animators, much better. So yeah, it's glad to hear about that, like at least so far. But yeah, this is a problem with not just Pixar, not just Sony, but also another great example is Laika. Laika also.
Oh yeah, Laika is also apparently what I've heard too is like apparently the animation company itself, like they're also suffering. Well, they're suffering really bad too, and I don't know, man. It just tells me like every animation company right now is kind of like really treating their people not well to say.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, is Dreamworks next? Are we going to hear the horror stories of what's going on behind the scenes of Wild Robot?
I really hope not. Oh
I
god,
really hope
Wild Robot
not.
is so good. I mean, it
Not
looks
gonna
really
lie.
good. It looks really good. I mean, we didn't hear anything bad about Puss in Boots, so I'm hoping that's good.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I'm just saying, because like if this is like bad, if this is all the news that they're going bringing up, like I get it, stand with animation, yeah, that make sure that we all get treated well. I mean, if anything, yes, keep animators with jobs and stuff, because I think the whole purpose of stand with animation is just that they want to get jobs, not be replaced by AI, right?
Yeah, that's the point. And also,
I don't think we actually talk about the emphasis about employee treatment, though.
that's a topic for another. That's a topic for another day. But that's what the Animation Guild is for. The Animation Guild is for having employee animators keep their jobs, but also to make sure that they are treated well, get more pay, and also
Right.
That's also what it comes down to, more pay. 'Cause
Yes.
animators have been underpaid severely.
Right. I remember the whole time when we were talking about the Screen Actors Guild, for example. Like, yes, they needed more pay, and thankfully they were able to, and now we get to see more movies out. Yes, I understand the whole AI thing was also a big thing that also happened with the Screen Actor Guild Association's negotiations when it came to the big time upper companies, and also trying to work on their jobs and stuff. I know that this time around, when it comes to the Animators Guild and trying to do the same thing what they did with the Screen Actors Guilds, I feel it's going to be much tougher, considering that with the way that AI is being used right now, companies are looking into that. And obviously, I do stand with animation, considering how AI projects are terrible at the moment.
Exactly. Like, there are some AI projects like that I've seen, like on clips on Twitter. Like, they look ugly. They look kind of like,
they absolutely look bad. I mean, I'm just saying it out there. Like, they really need to stand with animation in this case. Like, have the animators keep their jobs, but at the same time, again, the treatment of employees is another story. But the other problem is, like, either way, like, at the moment, from what I'm seeing right now, animators are not being treated well. And if you're an animator or a person who's thinking about going into animation, you might want to reconsider your job employment right now.
yeah, because things are not looking good in animation studios at the moment. And like I said, we only hope that the Animation Guild is very successful in their negotiations with AMTMP.
Mm-hmm. In the end, are you going to keep watching Inside Out 2?
I mean, I still am, because let's be honest, like you could separate the entities. Like, you can love the movie, how beautifully written it was, how beautifully crafted it was, but at the same time, it also came at a dangerous cost, like toxic cost, like the way they like. It's the same way I look at Across the Spiderverse. You can love the movie, but you just hate how it was made.
It's weird because it's just weird because I love watching Across the Spiderverse, and I watched it so many times. It's just like it's a great work of animation. It just stinks to hear the fact that it was treated in a shitty workplace. Yeah. Thanks Lord Miller.
And also, coincidentally, Across the Spiderverse and Inside Out 2 are sequels. So I'm hoping that this doesn't happen with DreamWorks and Shrek 5.
I mean, if you're telling me like it's all based off sequels, don't you tell me that means Illumination? Probably they have a lot of sequels on that too. So
yeah, I have yet to hear anything about Illumination being terrible. By the way, like Illumination, you say what you will about the movies, but from what I've heard, don't jinx it. So Illumination has been treating their staff, not problematic. So
I've not heard any
that's
news.
only because I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard any news about it, so I'm pretty sure it's all good. If anything, I feel like for those that work on like cartoons, they're the ones that are being treated well. I've not heard news about like SpongeBob employees getting overworked, or Loud House employees getting overworked, or any Disney TVA show. I mean, we said this in pre-show. Dan Povenmire has always been putting up a lot of videos on his TikTok, and it seems like everybody's having a fun time with Phineas and Ferb's new season.
Yeah, like Disney TVA, I would say like has the best kind of animation workplace environment, especially when you have people who express how they had fun working in Amphibia, they had fun working in the Owl House, they had fun working in these projects
because Dana and Matt both like respect their workers.
They respect the workers so much that they actually stood with the strikers. Like, they stood them with the Hollywood strikes, and they also stood with them that stand with animation strike.
And something tells me, like, after season 2 premiered, like after the new season premiered, they were ready to go for the next season. Because remember, they do get the word about the green light for the next season of a show. That's the reason why KIF season 3 is happening, and that's why probably they're working on it right now.
Yes.
Big City Green season 5, probably they're working on that right now, and season 4 is just being waited by Disney Channel to air. You know?
Yeah, and also we're hoping we get Primo season 2. Like,
They didn't get any word back for Primo season 2, so to say the least, right now they're currently in limbo too. Haley's on It didn't actually get an announcement for season 2, so
NYCC.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying Haley's on It didn't get a season 2 yet, and we really hope they do. But if they do, they have to rush on. I would not imagine them releasing Haley's on It season 2 until like 2026.
Ooh,
because look, if you didn't keep your staff to work on Haley's on It season 2, something tells me like they have to work from scratch. And we already seen the leaked scripts, by the way, so they have to get those scripts, work it onto animation, and you know how long that process is too. It's gonna be a while as well.
Yeah, you know, I'm a patient man, so you know what? If you're gonna release it 2026. Yeah, I'm down to wait for 2 years.
Yes, I mean, I'm down to wait for 2 years. I mean, look, The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder is supposed to be season 3. There's no season 3 yet. Where is that coming out? Disney Plus. Where's my Proud Family? But yes, if anything, again, how does the future looking for animation is just bleak, especially in the movie sector, because it feels like it just feels like shit. Like from the article that I saw, it just feels like, oh, great movie. No, it's not a great movie.
Yeah, like I don't want to feel the feeling of, you know, like I'm watching a movie I love, but then, you know, you feel guilty watching it at the same time.
Yeah, so so it kind of like feeling like an emotional roller coaster now.
It kind of does.
God.
And you know what? Here's a really bad irony in this is that Inside Out, like as well as the sequel, talks about, you know, emotions. It talks about delves deep into mental health. But the way that Pixar Disney has treated these employees, it feels like they're going against the message.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, employees actually spoke up and talked about this because, again, I mean, it's a Spiderverse. It's Spiderverse 2 all over again. It's Laika all over again. Somebody tells me like animation right now is not doing great, and I'm just hoping things will get better. If they kept their jobs back with stamina animation, that's great. But at the same time, I really hope companies actually treat their employees well. I mean, I've been through so many employees with toxic work environments.
Yeah,
you don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I've been through toxic work environments in the past myself, so I definitely know what it feels like, and I don't want anyone else to go through that.
Yeah. Well, if anything, like I said, I am still watching Inside Out 2. It's just that it's a little heavy with my heart now, just the fact that I heard about this news.
Yeah, like when you watch Inside Out 2, there are two emotions take over, joy and anger. And we know why.
Yeah, indeed. Oh god, it's like a mix of emotions with that. It's my anxiety is actually starting up again because of that.
Like joy and anger, like they're currently, you know, fighting over who controls the panel as they watch the movie. So yeah.
God damn it. Either way, anything else you want to bring up before we get to our main subject here?
Nothing much except I want to say my heart goes out to all those who were affected by this, and we thank each and every one of you for, you know, bringing this project to life, and also #Stamina Animation.